So you've got this wrestling that's been going on between the truth of the Old Testament prophets and Paul's insanity and Christianity, because Christianity today bases, well, certainly the Roman Church bases its teachings on the devil Paul's insanity. Skipping over to the Revelation, which is true. They didn't know what to do with it. It was so cryptic, so they left it intact. And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is, of the angel. The angel of Jesus is identical to myself today, myself being Brian. And his forearm measures 20.6 inches, and that is the measure of a cubit. And 206, of course, is the Queen's Chamber in the pyramid. But multiplying 144 by 20.6 gives you 2966 inches. Greek Dictionary 2966, a limb of the body, as if lopped off, carcass. So it's his forearm, from his elbow to the tip of his fingers. That is the measure. And of course it's a limb of his body. Now measuring the temple means to measure the earth. The earth is the temple. And so the position of the altar to the Lord is all to do with the angel and the man. Here it is, 44:13, Isaiah. He marketh it out with the compass, and maketh it after the figure of a man, according to the beauty of a man. And this is why the displacement factor of 286.1 pyramid inches reduces the base measure of the pyramid, and the capstone is too large by 286.1 pyramid inches. The man rejected by modern Lucifer churches, all of them, not one have got it right, and all education from kindergarten to universities worldwide. An absolute rejection, except amongst 6.7 billion people on the planet at this point in time, except for the 144,000. That's why when Yahweh, Brian, created the earth, he based it on the measure of himself, a man. Then when he was here as Jesus, a man, his angel identical to himself, the man, appears to John on the Isle of Patmos. Now the Isle of Patmos in Greek is the number 3963. Now that, as a measurement in distance, is the earth radii in miles. Then measure the pyramid, then its location, then the distance through Africa, and then onward to the South Pole. Each layer, and there's 202 of them, of masonry on the pyramid aligns with a solar eclipse that reveals, via the 25-degree latitudes, that's north and south, a precise point that all confirms Brian's place of rebirth. For example, the 50th layer of masonry at the King's Chamber, so it's the floor of the King's Chamber, to Brian's rebirth location on Rosebery, Rothschild Avenue, is 8888.8 miles. Of course, 888 is Jesus. And here we have December 18th, 1922, lunation 0, and then the first eclipse occurring on March the 17th, 1923, and then subsequent eclipses lining up with each masonry layer until we get to the 50th, being the floor of the King's Chamber. Now the eclipses are always measured along the 25-degree latitude, north and south. Now, this is, you have the base here of the pyramid originally laid out to be 36524.24, which of course in 1 year there are 365.2424 days. And then it was reduced. When it came to actually building it, it was reduced. It was made smaller by the amount of 286.1 pyramid inches. So that meant, because the capstone was fashioned after the original laying out at the larger measure, so the capstone became too big to sit upon the point here at the very top. And that is a direct reference, the rejected capstone is a direct reference made by it in Psalms 118.22. Now the center, we're talking about this being the center of the earth landmass. Well, Psalms 118 verse 8 is the very center of the Bible. So just 14 verses later, you come to the reference of the verse that talks about the capstone that is rejected by the builders. So the measuring with a compass, referenced in Isaiah 44:13, to be the measure of a man and the beauty of a man. This is what the pyramid is all about. It's the measure of a man, Yahweh, the altar to the Lord. This is amazing. You can see here the completed height of the pyramid with the capstone in place is 5813 pyramid inches. The base, 36524.24 divided by 2, then divided by pi, equals 5813, which is the completed height of the pyramid with the capstone in place. The missing capstone represents Christ in the end of time, that's now. These are all churches, cults, religions, governments, nations, peoples, schools of the modern world reject the Lord, who was reborn to the earth on January the 11th, 1944, and is himself represented by that number there, 286.1, the Lamb and the Father rejected. Therefore, all creation is proven via the longitude of the pyramid, laying a line from the coast to coast, north-south, reveals a distance through Africa, reiterating that is 30 miles long, from that point to the South Pole, which is that word compass, an instrument to measure. That is how God proves himself and the creation. He measures everything. And then, from that point where it exits, southeast coast of Africa, due south to the South Pole, is 3623, espousal. We've gone through that once, so we'll just let them read. The rejection, the displacement factor. 3623, here it is in Hebrew. There it is, from 3618, bridehood. In the plural, espousal. 2861 is the male God, the Father, one, Alpha, and the Lamb, 286, the Son, as one, the husband to be. 2859 from 2861, a wedding, espousal. There it is. There it is.